world of difference in the claims between Binance and Coinbase from the SEC. So the SEC is claiming they allowed an unregistered broker, again, as I said, dealer, to be reviewed, IPO, and public trade for years without action or guidance. It's once again, it's just a total lack of any kind of clarity from the SEC, and then just suing people after the fact. Now, this isn't even the worst one. So that's Binance. The Coinbase one is far, far worse. So Coinbase then the next morning, theatrically sued by the SEC, says that they are acting as an unregistered broker. And the funny thing about that, okay, so, and a lot of people have pointed this out right away, and that this is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about with Gensler, which we forgot to mention, something we just now found out about him and Binance that we'll mention in a minute. But why did the SEC approve of Coinbase being a public company, and I believe it was 2019, to sell all of these quote unquote illegal securities on it? Brian Armstrong, as we know, and again, love Coinbase, hate Coinbase, same with Brian Armstrong. He has specifically, more than anybody probably, reached out for clarity, creating a bridge to the SEC. When he's in Washington, D.C., he's posting pics of him with meeting with people and stuff like that. He has covered his bases, you know, and this is what he's getting back from the SEC. So, but not only that, like I just said, I mean, like, they approved Coinbase as a public. So you approve of their actions after thoroughly vetting them, supposedly, and now you're suing them for this.
Yeah.
So which is it? Yeah.
Well, it just goes back to the whole thing. Like I said, people are trying. It was, I believe Gemini had attempted, Kraken has attempted, you know, and at this point they're like, well, screw it. They're not going to give us clear answer. We're just going to pay the fine. You know, it's cheaper to pay the fine, and, you know, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness later, kind of thing. You know, it's just, that's the situation that we're in with a lot of this stuff. And it's because, again, there is no clarity. No one knows what the hell's going on. They don't want to give straight answers, and it's for that reason. It's because if they give an answer or determine something a security or a non-security or you know, a commodity, then they're stuck. You know, that is, you know, they can't go back on it later and change their minds. So with all the back and forth flip-flopping that they do, you know, they want obscurity, and they don't want people to know. Again, it's part of their plan to just corner this market and choke it out. People are going to leave the country and go elsewhere. It's sad.
Yeah, it is, and it does suck. We've had this conversation, but it does suck for the United States. You know, you could be like on the burgeoning front of these innovations. You know what I mean? Like, you could be there for it, but they're taking actions to drive it out. We've talked about before, you know, nobody's here to politicize crypto. We, anyway, are not here to politicize crypto. Crypto's for the people. Crypto's for everybody. Politicians are doing that. And you're not going to see one single Democrat, you know, in favor of anything dealing with self-sovereignty. I mean, you know, that is, the term liberal can be thrown out the window. There's just not people on that side of the aisle that want you to have freedom. I mean, it's just not how they are right now. So
it's funny, the difference between liberal and libertarian. It really is, even though they're very similar words, they have such different meaning, especially when it comes to crypto stuff.
Yes. Yeah. We're definitely seeing the shift as far as that goes. You're only going to get like some very specific types of Republicans that are going to really speak out about this kind of stuff right now. But I want to quote a tweet actually from Adam Cochran on Twitter the other day, just at Adam S. Cochran. He was talking about he said, world of difference in the claims between Binance and Coinbase from the SEC. So the SEC is claiming they allowed an unregistered broker, again, as I said, dealer, to be reviewed, IPO, and public trade for years without action or guidance in terms of Coinbase, you know. So that's why that one is far, far worse. I mentioned a link between Gary Gensler and Binance that we just saw. It was just tweeted by Watcher Guru or whatever right before we went on the air.
Wake Dog just brought it up too.
Yeah. So there you go. Thanks, Wake Dog. So Gensler applied as an advisor for Binance and got turned down. So what do you make of that? I mean, like, is this guy just going to wherever, you know, he's best served personally? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could say revenge, but I mean, he's going after everybody, Wake Dog, too. So I know where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what this
it
guy's
could be a
doing.
sore spot for the whole space. Maybe he was kind of not welcome anywhere, and
Yeah,
he just
right.
has it out for everybody. I really can't wait for this whole committee thing to hopefully get set up, and the head of the SEC, the chairperson, needs to just go away. This needs to be handled by a group of individuals, not just one person. Because if there is revenge, or if there's anything like that, that all needs to be eliminated. You can't operate business that way. It's not good for any of us, really. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah, certainly not fun stuff to be dealing with now and reading about. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, where do you come out on what will go down with this Ewok? Because we have both said, and I totally believe this, all those coins that they listed as potential securities, I don't think they're going to be officially labeled as securities. I don't think they're going to be delisted from exchanges. This stuff is all going to take forever. And usually how it works out is some kind of regulation agreement is found and you move forward. That's
yep.
just kind of where it is. I was talking to somebody earlier today and comparing elements of this anyway to like the drug war, which we all know was massively disastrous. You know what I mean? Just wastes of money. You can't ban cryptocurrency. I mean, you can delay these things and try to throw these blockages and meaningless lawsuits in the way and stuff like that. But it's like banning the wheel. I mean, this stuff is out there. It's going to be there. And if you would actually do your job as Gary Gensler in the SEC and provide some clarity on what you want, which you won't do, you literally won't say what your opinion is of Ethereum when pressed about it.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to get from these people? And it's not even asking for like that, it's simply asking for clarity. It's not asking for like, you're going to call it a commodity. You're going to play by my rules. It's just wanting some kind of clarity. So how do you think this all shakes out? I mean, are you kind of like me? Like, do you think that it just kind of fizzles out and we get some kind of, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'll be honest.
Well, the whole Gandhi statement where, they say first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Well, we're at the they fight you stage. It's one of those things where I think the space is big enough where they can fight you. It's not going to, play out well. There's really not a whole lot they can do with DeFi. They can shut the on and off ramps down, but people will start to learn to transact in their type of currency. So I think that, sorry, no, I had a cough there. Things will evolve, things will come of this, and they can fight all they want, but there's enough people that are in this space that will fight back. And hopefully we get a few good politicians that are on our side as well, as far as regulation, as far as the digital aspects of it, the companies, the innovations, things like that. We want to keep some of that in the United States. We don't want it to go abroad. We lose some of that business. It just doesn't make sense. It's not a good business choice for them either, to get rid of crypto if they want to, crack down on taxes or whatever they think people are doing. But there's more people that are laundering money and using it illegally with cash. So it's we're at that point, like I said, where this is they fight you, and Wake Dog said it too, and that's we will come out victorious, or we'll just kind of operate in our own space. It'll be fine.
Yeah, in pure volume, I mean, there's much more corruption in dollars than there is in crypto.
Absolutely.
There's more of them, and it's been happening since the beginning of the time. And that's the lie that they like to continue to tell everybody, is that, the safe old way of doing things is the right way to do it just because it's the old way. It doesn't matter that there's also millions of issues there as well. So
yeah, and and then they make the comments like, "Oh, well, we already have digital money. It's called the U.S. dollar. What do we need the other stuff?" You know what I mean?
right.
It doesn't make sense. Well, if we already have it, then why are you fighting it? If you think it's so good, why are you fighting it? They're obviously threatened. They're intimidated by it. And they don't want people to gain wealth ahead of them. So there's a lot of reasons by this whole fight that they're trying to do. There's multiple reasons, but that's one of them too, is they don't want people to shy away from their dollar, which they think is all superior, that they can control. So
yeah, and make no mistake, we've talked about Fed Now, a very creative name, this CBDC that's basically launching next month, I guess, in the United States. It's a surveillance tool. I mean, pure and simple. It has nothing really to do with convenience or anything like that. That's what the guise will be, but it's about, seeing what you're doing with your money and your life. But obviously, to wrap up the Coinbase thing and these lawsuits, Brian Armstrong obviously put out a lengthy tweet as well, just basically saying that, of course, they're going to fight this. And he even specified too, this lawsuit is much different from the others. They're just purely focusing on what is or isn't a security. He feels comfortable with where they're at in terms of the law with that. And they'll fight it. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Well, as they happen, I believe they filed suit against the SEC already.
First.
So this is I don't know what to say, it's a countersuit, but it's a whole new different a different suit. But yeah, they've already brought files against them, charges. So we'll see what happens.
Well, like I said, it's like Oprah. You get sued, you get sued, you get sued, you get sued. So
everybody gets sued.
Exactly.